Welcome to PHT in the Morning with your host, Pastor David Miller from the Pentecostal Holiness Tabernacle in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Good morning and welcome to another episode of PHT in the Morning with Pastor David Miller. I am Pastor Miller, so I'll be your host for the next few minutes this morning. And I want to talk to you this morning about a verse in Isaiah chapter 55, verse number 6. And that verse says, "Seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Call upon him while he is near." Now it goes on to say in verse 7, "Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts, and let him return to the Lord, and he will have mercy upon him, and to our God, for he will abundantly pardon." So those are some great verses that I was looking at here this morning. But those last four words that says, "while he is near," that's the time to seek the Lord. That's the time to call upon the Lord, is while he is near. Now, I'm going to share a little story with you here that I read many years ago. And I went back and revisited the book. And the story talks about a king that once had defeated a great dynasty. That king could have killed everyone that he had defeated, but instead he decided to give the inhabitants of that conquered land a clemency or amnesty or freedom. And the way that he done it was that clemency or that freedom was going to come with just a period of time. So it wasn't there forever, but it was going to be for a small amount of time. There was a decree sent out and said this, that the new king had lit a candle. And he said this, that if anyone comes to me before the candle goes out and ask for their freedom would be granted to them. But the freedom was gone once the candle had went out. And I thought about that story when I read these scriptures here this morning that said, "Seek the Lord while he may be found." So I feel like this morning, many of you that are listening to me today, if you'll call upon the Lord now while he's near and seek him while he may be found, you can find that freedom, that clemency, or that amnesty from whatever it is that you're facing. But I want to tell you this, all of life's offers have their candle of limitation. That candle did not stay lit forever. I read that it said it was several hours, and but not even a complete day that the candle went out. So many folks, I don't have time to go on the whole story, but many folks rushed and they got there and they asked for pardon, for freedom, and it was granted them. But others got there just a little too late, and they did not receive their freedom because the candle of limitation had went out. So I want to say to you this morning, that's listening to me, I don't know what the limitations upon your life is. I don't know how many opportunities you're going to have. I do know this, that verse number 6 of Isaiah 55 is very clear. And that says again, "Seek the Lord while he may be found." Right now is the time to seek the Lord. Call ye upon him while he is near. So right now is the time to call upon the Lord while He is near, and let the wicked forsake his way, and the righteous man his thoughts, and return unto the Lord, and he will have mercy upon him. So while he is near, call upon him this morning. Now, I believe the Lord is near to many of you, like I said, that is listening to me this morning. And sometimes we say, how do I know if the Lord is really near? How do I know that in layman's terms? Well, sometimes there are certain things, and I'm going to go over a couple of them with you here, that I think can show us, reveal to us that the Lord is telling us that he's close by, that he's nearby. First of all, I want to give you one, and I feel like he is near during times of sorrow. Sometimes when we're going through great sorrow, great heartache, that's a good time to call upon the Lord. You may think, I am just so burdened. I'm so grief-stricken. I'm going through so much right now. What will I do? That's a great time to call upon the Lord and seek the Lord right now, because you'll find the Lord is near during your time of sorrow. And sometimes we think about sorrow and say, well, how in the world could any good thing come out of that? Well, it's kind of like the rain upon the earth. And life without sorrow is like the earth without any rain. You know, we want the sun to shine, we want beautiful days, and we want the flowers to bud, and we want the trees to grow out and have beautiful leaves upon them. But without any rain, without any dark skies or any rain, the leaf will not come out on the tree, and the flowers will not be able to bud. So we need the rain just like we do the sun. And that's kind of how life is. Sometimes sorrow comes. But during that time of sorrow, you can find that the Lord will be near to you. So if you're going through a time of sorrow this morning, or a time of grief maybe this morning, it's a good time to call upon the Lord. Instead of just wallowing in your grief or sorrow, instead of just feeling sorry for yourself, why don't you take an opportunity during that time and call upon the Lord while he's near? Seek him right now while he may be found. Also, sometimes sorrow can soften our heart, and it can purify our affections, and it can cause hatreds to expire or to totally leave. So when sometimes we get sorrow, we can be able to weep or be able to cry. And no longer do we have that hard heart. No longer do we have hatred within us. Our affections that might not have always been good can be purified through those tears. Or possibly the heart that had gotten hard could be softened through this time of sorrow. So I just ask you this morning to call upon the Lord today while he's near and while you can find him today. Also, we can seek the Lord when he's near to us in our conscience. I believe sometimes that our conscience is awakened and aroused, and that's a great opportunity. It's a great time for us to seek the Lord or call upon the Lord. For instance, Adam and Eve. You know, and most people know that's read the Bible or heard any sermon preached at all, can tell you about the story of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden and how they was told not to eat of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. But they did. And then they heard the voice of the Lord God walking in the garden of the cool of the day, crying out, Adam, where art thou? And as he began to commune with Adam, Adam's conscience was aroused. And I believe he realized at that point that he had done something terribly wrong, what the Lord had told him not to do. And, or what about Nathan? When he aroused the conscience of David, when David, at a time when kings went to war, stayed home and was walking on the rooftop and saw, looked over across and saw Bathsheba bathing, sent for a servant to bring her to him, and he lay with her. And she became with child. And he tried to do several things to cover up his sin, like sending her husband to the forefront of the hottest battle and trying to get her to come home, him to come home and to stay all night with his wife. But he refused because other men was out there on the battlefield. But one day his conscience was greatly aroused when Nathan came to him and began to talk to him about a person that had only one little lamb, and another person with many lambs took that one and dressed it and took it to himself and said, what should be done, David? And David said, that man should suffer and he should die, and so on. And then Nathan said, thou art the man. Now at that time, when David realized his conscience was awakened to his sin, he began to seek forgiveness. Now, I'll tell you today, if your conscience will cause you to seek the Lord and realize you need to call upon the Lord, that's a good time. Or if it's during sorrow, whatever it is that causes you to realize you need to seek the Lord, then that's what we need to do. And many people have overridden and overrode their conscience. I don't want to be like that at all. Kind of like the Bible tells us in the book of Acts, chapter number 24, the Bible said that in verse number 24, that after certain days when Felix and his wife came, a Jewess, her name was Drusilla, a Jewess, sent for Paul and heard him concerning the faith in Christ. He reasoned righteousness, temperance, and judgment to come. Felix trembled and said, go thy way for this time. And when I have a more convenient season, I'll call for you. Now, that's not good enough to say, I will pray someday. I'll pray sometime. To just override your conscience and put it off. The greatest thing he could have done was that very day for him to have called upon the Lord and asked the Lord to forgive him at that particular time. But he said at a better time. I want to ask you today, when's that time going to come for you? If you're listening to me, are you looking for a better time, a more convenient time? Has your conscience been awakened by realizing of your failure or sin? Has the Lord showed himself near during times of sorrows or grief or any of these other times? Has he done that to you? Then if he has, don't let the candle of limitation go out upon you. Call upon the Lord while he is near. You know, I could go, if I had plenty of time, into places in the Bible like Noah. Noah, while the ark was being built, I don't read where they ever was told they couldn't enter into the ark. Matter of fact, the Lord said to him, come, for all things are, come on in now, come into the ark. And yet they did, and the door was shut. And that door of opportunity was over. Jesus said at the parable of the supper, come, for all things are now ready. And yet many folks did not come to the supper, even though they were bidden. So I'm asking you this morning to hear the call and listen to this little teaching that we've tried to help you with today. And while there's time, seek the Lord while he may be found. Call upon him while he is near. Don't be like Felix. Don't be like Agrippa. Don't be like these others, but call upon the Lord now. Don't look for a convenient season, because if there is conviction, then it is convenient. Well, I've tried to be a blessing to you today. I hope that I have. So this morning, I'm going to go off of our podcast by just reading this verse to you again. And that verse says this: seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. This is Pastor David Miller, and I hope you have a great rest of your day and a great week. And God bless you is my prayer.